Hello everybody, welcome for this new episode of the Bestiary of Terebia, and today I will talk to you about the Meidwalkrone. So the first thing to know about the Meidwalkrone is that it's one of the creatures which is the more different depending of the point of view. So for the Puritans it is considered as a very dangerous creature and an heretic creature, of course. For the shepherds, it's considered as an allied. So I will start with the point of view of the Puritans. So you have here the picture of the Meidwalkrone. It is the only thing which don't change. So they consider that creature as a creative because it is a transformation due to shamanism. His single number is 49, so it's very dangerous for them. For the same reason, I will explain that a bit later. The advice is use a large crossbow. The idea is that the Meidwalkrone is bigger and in proportion more resistant than a standard human. So the Puritans use a special crossbow, very big and very powerful, to kill them in distance because in a close combat they are very dangerous. And the purity scale is of 50%, so it is considered as very impure. So here I have the position on triangle of Wulfric, and here you have the purity scale, and you can see that the Meidwalkrone are considered as the same purity scale as ogres. So it's pretty bad. And so they are hunted everywhere by the Puritans. Or the Puritans are hunted, it's depending of the situation. So for the shepherds, it's very different. They are considered as a natural because in fact you have the shamanism have two parts. A light part which is more about communion with environment, and another part which is more exploitation. And the Meidwalkrone is more like communion and reinforcement of the utilizer by the environment. So the shepherds, because of that, consider Meidwalkrone as a natural. The single number is 42, so it is pretty not inoffensive but pretty useful. And the advice is ask the code. In fact, when the shepherds fight very dangerous adversaries, for example necromancers, which gang, or for example also little armies of bandits, for example, they can ask the help of Meidwalkrone. And so in each region there is a code to ask that help. For example, in the extreme west it is until the moon fall, and the idea is for example shepherds will talk to Meidwalkrone, and in the discussion he will put this code and so claim help. So here you have the jungle of Wulfric, and here you have the localization of the Meidwalkrone in Terebia. So you can find some isolated Meidwalkrone everywhere in Terebia, but they, in general, you will find them in the northwest of Terebia and sometimes in the west, but it's especially in the forest of the northwest. Then now I will talk to you about the society of the Meidwalkrone. So in fact the Meidwalkrone is a capacity of a category of shamanism. So that shamanism live in a community. So imagine that the global community is a red circle, and in this community live different other community. Each community is linked to a different spirit, so the deer, the hare, the bear, the owl, the wolf, and the boar. You have their traduction in the local language just after. And the idea is that to have a perfect union and a perfect stability in the community, each category of operation, so the population of the deer, of the bear, of the boar, for example, have to be equal and in peace together. It's why there is not war, or a very little number of war between different group of shamanism, because they aspire to live in peace, because it's the origin of their power. Moreover, each group have a capacity linked to his spirit. For example, I will give you the capacity for the deer. It's the power of seduction. So in love, in sexuality, and in friendship also. And their capacity is to be more attractive to the other. The hare is the symbol of the prey, of the very weak prey, and so the power of the hare group is to identify all the possible threats around them. It can be very useful, of course, and it is why they make a good spy, because if they are in a hostile territory, they can identify all the threats. Or also, they are also good scouts for that. Then the bear, so it's very very simple. It's their power is a strength, and they just have a brutal strength. More, they are just stronger than the others. Very simple. For the owl, it's the idea of the silence, and the member of the whole group can move in a total silence until they are detected. So for same reason, it's they are very good killer or good hunters. The wolf, it's the idea of the hunter, and they can collect information by the smell or the sounds on them. For example, you saw that in the Bestiary, in the Terebia first play, when Idris, Idris, who is linked to the group of the wolf, use power to determine the number of bandits by the smell. And finally, you have the clan of the boar, and it is the symbol of the prey which fights to live, and so the boar members are more resistant than the others. So Meidwalkrone is can be mastered when a shaman will be able to use during a short time all the capacities of all the groups. So the capacity of the deer, of the hare, of the bear, of the owl, the wolf, and the boar. And so here in the selection, each part became represent in the Meidwalkrone and give new abilities. For example, for the deer, so Orcs in their language, and here I will use only the traduction. So Orcs is the capacity to bring a group of soldiers. For example, if that group don't have a bad view of you, for example, if the group had a bad image of you, you will not be able to use the power, but if they are neutral or friendly, you will be a natural leader and you will be able to give orders by telepathy to all the members of the group. And it's very important to know that, because in Terebia First Plague, if Elves can't use that power with Tangal when she's in Meidwalkrone, is because Tangal is an Inquisitor and so have a bad image of Elves at the beginning of the story. Then you have Ascen's Gate, so it's the hare or the rabbit, depending of the traduction. And here, when the shaman became a Meidwalkrone, it's capacity to identify threats, but with very very high precision. For example, if there is a people with a big crossbow, the shaman will be able to know when he will shoot and what will be his target. So he became very powerful. But for that, the shaman, if the shaman is not of the clan of the hare, he has to turn into a Meidwalkrone to know that. Then the muzzle bear, so the bear. So it's very simple. It's strength, a very brutal strength. And the Stellan, so the owl, it is a capacity to move in silence, but also to have very sharp claws and very dangerous claws. For the wolf's act, so the wolf, it is the smell, but also the capacity to put a mark. So, for example, if you injured somebody, the shaman will smell his blood, and so he will be able to know until he's in the Meidwalkrone, even if he became human and then a lot of years later become Meidwalkrone again, he will be able to know where the people is in all Terebia. So it is very very powerful. And then the Tapferbear, so the boar, it is a capacity, for example, if you are in a position of weakness, for example surrounded by a lot of people or injured, you will have a boost of power. All your powers will be boosted, and until the situation, until you are dead, or until the immediate threat is gone. Well, as you can imagine, the Puritans fight them, and it is why the triangle number is 49. It's because they attack the Meidwalkrone and the Meidwalkrone attack them. So it is a problem. For example, the shepherds who live in peace, but it's not truly exact. There are still tensions, but they don't fight. In fact, so the shepherds are not in war with the Meidwalkrone, and so there is no danger for them. But for the Puritans, the danger represented by the Meidwalkrone is real. And so they created the Puritans Meidwalkrone Killer Corps. So it is composed of sanitizer. To give you an idea, it's globally the same thing of you can it's the same thing to the Inquisitors of the Great Temple, but imagine them in in higher number and but with less training, and also we don't have a crossbow. Only specialized sanitizer have big crossbow. So in the right you have a standard crossbow, and in the left you have a crossbow used to the end of the Meidwalkrone. So it's a very powerful crossbow, but also very heavy. So you have to be two to use that. So the first Puritans will support the crossbow, and the second will shoot, reload, we shoot and reload. Or sometimes there is a metal stick. You put it on the ground, and you can use it to stabilize the crossbow, but you lose your mobility. And they use that to kill the Meidwalkrone. Of course, for the shepherd it's a bit different. Sometimes they ask the Meidwalkrone for help, and the rest of the time they just ignore them. Well, so it's everything you had to know about the Meidwalkrone. So I hope you enjoyed that video. For the next episode, you will be able to choose between the Sealadies, the Elves, or the Orcs. So back to the next episode.